So first lecture is about the important key phrases. The focus we are giving to this topic is mainly because of the day-to-day analysis from the newspaper. So in order to locate the important keywords or the important points from the newspaper, we should know about some terms which is relevant in international relations. So it will eventually help you to build your answer writing as well as in order to locate your own points from the newspaper. Okay, so first we are going to so, what do you mean by international relations? So, first we have to understand the core aspect of international relations, what its term simply means. Okay, so we can directly implement this into our answer writing. While locating the content, we can we can locate all the things from different dimensions. Okay, so we have to understand the idea or the meaning or the crux of these aspects. Okay, so international relations from the term we know that it is a study of interaction between and among the states. The two important points here are between and among the states, okay, as well as the overall operation of the international system. So everything is based on that. As well as international relations have two aspects. First one is multidisciplinary and the second one is meta-disciplinary. Okay, so here the important part is coming into the multidisciplinary field. Here, international aspects of all these particular things are happening here. That is the combined effects of politics, economics, history, law, sociology. Okay, so all these things are important in case of the multidisciplinary aspect in international relation. So when moving to the meta-discipline, here we are focuses on the systematic structures and the patterns of interaction of the human species as a whole. So we have to connect all these things by political aspect, economic aspect, historical aspect, and the law and the sociology as well as the human species or the human aspect. Okay, so the second term we are using is the action reaction. So we can it just reminds us about the Newton's third law. Every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. Am I right? So it's have the just like the same thing is here also. That is which is frequently used in the game theory and the conflict analysis. Okay, so here the concept of arms race is mainly used. Okay, so what do you mean by arms race? So arms race means it is a pattern of competitive acquisition of the military capability between two or more countries. So this is the concept of arms race. Actually, the arms race, this concept was explained in the Richardson's process. Okay, that is Richardson process by the scholar Louis Fry Richardson. So we have to just know about that. And the third part is adjudication. So what do you mean by adjudication? Actually, it is a process. What is happening here is that is resolving international disputes. How we are locally resolving our dispute. We will refer our cases to the court. Am I right? So the same thing is happening here also. Adjudication means it is a process of resolving international disputes by referring them to a court of law in accordance with the international law. So here the important points are there. Adjudication, it is an international dispute, resolving the international disputes by referring them to a court of law. The important point is that it's based on the international law. So now we must have to know that there must be a court. Okay, yes, there is a court. That is the permanent court of international justice. Okay, so when it established, actually it was established by the League of Nations following World War I. Okay, and the International Court of Justice took its place in 1945. So these are the three important aspects. And the fourth one is about alliance. Alliance is happening between two or more actors. Actors means the leaders of the particular state. Okay, so alliance means when two or more actors formally agree to work together on security related issues. So this is called the alliance. Okay, here the security issue, the term is came here. Okay, so it simply means that it's about the defensive agreements to take effect during the war. So this is called alliance. We already know that our India is maintaining lots of alliance with other countries or the other powerful nations like USA. Okay, so this is about the alliance. So the next part is about the asylum. So one thing we have to remember that in case of the international relations, asylum is about the between the countries, not about only about the individuals. Okay. So the term asylum, which means safe place. So here actually it is a kind of legal process. It is a kind of legal process where a citizen of another country get help from a state in exchange for the sanctuary. Okay, so this is the concept of asylum. As well as the important declarations is there. That is Article 14 of the 1948 Universal Declaration of Human Rights. What they say is that not an individual has the right to asylum. It says that a state, not an individual has the right to asylum. Okay, so here, according to the Article 14th of the 1948 Universal Declaration of Human Rights, it means that asylum, based on that, here it states not an individual has the right to asylum. Okay, so this is the main concept here. And the sixth one is about the balkanization. So we have to go through all these terms in order to get an idea about international relations. Otherwise, we can't do our exam properly. Okay, we can't do our preparations properly. So that's why we are just dealing all these things now. So balkanization. Actually, the balkanization were came during the late 19th century. It was the term which was used by the diplomats at that time. Okay, so here they just try to describe the Russia's policy towards the state of Balkan Peninsula. So here you can see the state of Balkan Peninsula. These are the Balkan Peninsula. This is relevant in actually in our map studies also, okay? So here you can see the water bodies connecting here. That is Black Sea is present and also the Adriatic Sea is here and Ionian Sea is here and the Aegean Sea is here. Okay. So these are the Balkanization or the Balkan states. Okay. So the term Balkan, it is described from the Turkish for forested mountains. Okay, so actually this came from the forested mountains. This is about the balkanization. Here it's derived. So the Balkan, the term derived from the Turkish for the forested mountains and also the term used to describe the fragmentation of a region into an independent and mutually antagonistic power centers. Okay, so later at that time, former Ottoman Empire states like Albania, Bulgaria, Greece, Romania, Yugoslavia. So all these five states were referred by this term. Okay. So the next one is about nation of interest. So what do you mean by national interest? So in the national interest, it is actually a tool as well as a determinant. Why we are using this one? It is to identify the foreign policy objectives in relation to other states in an international system. Okay, so national interest is encompasses all of the objectives. Okay, goals, demands, interests that a country seeks to, like protection, preserve, defend, and secure in its interactions with other countries. So all these important points are relevant in case of the national interest. As well as these are the primary national interests of a state. So there are four different or four important national interests are there. First one is about the peace and stability in the region, and the sovereignty and the territorial integrity, and people's economic well-being, as well as the internal harmony and cohesion. Okay, so these are the important points about the primary national interests of the state. So there is a different term is there that is called ENI. So what do you mean by ENI? So the ENI means the Enlightened National Interest. So the Enlightened National Interest means here someone is pursuing one's own national interests without harming the national interests of other nation. So this is called the Enlightened National Interest. Okay. And the next one is about the balance of power. Actually, balance of terror, it's also a point which is derived from the BOP, that is balance of power. In case of balance of terror means it is completely of negative aspect. Okay. Here, two state actors threaten each other with destructions. So, there is an example for the BOT, that is the balance of terror, that is the MAD, that is MAD, mutually assured destruction doctrine used by the USSR and the US during the Cold War. So, what do you mean by choke points is another one. So, before that, we have to look about the balance of power. So, it is a state of an equilibrium, okay, that exists at the time of conflicts between the countries, okay. So, it assumes zero-sum game of power and dominance in the world. It simply means that when one country or one nation gains a particular type of power, then at the same time the other will lose the same. Okay, so this is called the balance of power. So these are the important points here. So what do you mean by choke points? Actually, the choke point is mainly based on the naval diplomacy. It is an important geopolitical term. It is used to signify an international strait whose control could potentially affect the commercial transit. Okay, so this is relevant in IR. Okay, and the second and the last one is about the deterrence. Okay, so deterrence means what? It is a credible threat of force by one state to prevent another state from engaging in undesirable behavior. So this is called the deterrence. So here we can see that military fear will be there. Okay, military fear will come when in case of the nuclear weapons. We already know about the North Koreans. Why other countries are silent towards North Korea? Because they have immense nuclear weapons. So that is a type of military fear or the military might. And the second one is about the economic strength. There will be a fear will come in case of the economic sanctions. Okay, so that's also a type of deterrence. And also a diplomatic heft is there in case of condemnation on international platform. Okay, as well as the UNSC resolution, like United Nations Security Council, their resolutions. So everything is just related to the deterrence. And the last one is about the disarmament. It is a process of reducing, eliminating, and removing the specific weapon systems identified by a state. This is called disarmament. Actually, the disarmament is typically it is employed in relation to nuclear weapons. Okay. So, if there is a completion in disarmament, what will happen? Then the world will be completely demilitarized. So that is the important point here. So it is the process of reducing, eliminating and removing the specific weapon systems identified by a state. So the outcome of this process, if there is complete disarmament happen or occur, then it will leads to the demilitarization of the complete world. Okay. So these are the some important terms or the key phrases for international relations. So there are also some points are there like hegemony. Actually, hegemony means it is a political, economical, and military dominance or control of one state over others in the international system. Okay, so this is called hegemony. So here what will happen means a state with sufficient capabilities is referred to as a hegemonic power. Okay, in which the other states define their relationship. We can US and Afghanistan. Here what happened? The political, economic, as well as the military dominance or the control of one state, that is, the control of the Afghanistan was over to the US. Okay, so they were just dependent on the US in the international system. So what will happen? This is a state with sufficient capabilities and is referred as a hegemonic power. And here this is the dependent state. Okay, so this is one of the important point in international relations. So I hope you all got understood today, and we will come soon with the next part. Thank you.